You know what? I think it's time for Chapter 2 of Book of Shadows. So, let's get going to, well, Demise. What? Why was I lying on the ground? My vision was blurred and indistinct. Maybe it was the blow to the head, or maybe it was because of all of the tears in my eyes. I'd been forced out through the infirmary door and tossed like a rag doll into the hallway. I could barely breathe and I was completely unable to move. I wished I could slip away into unconsciousness, but my agony was keeping me in the moment. My abdomen. I put my hand to it without thinking, and a sharp pain flew through my palm as well. Looking down, that whole area of my body was soaked with blood and liberally pierced by large pieces of glass, many of them the size of drafting triangles. I was certain some of them must have sliced all the way into my internal organs. Oh God, why? Why was this happening to me? Hey, lady. No. No, help me, please. Through my veil of tears, I could just barely make out the face of a young girl with an unearthly blue glow about her. She was looking right at me and seemed concerned? No. As she got closer, I could read her expression more clearly. She was smiling and staring into my soul with one good eye, and one empty socket. Won't you come play with us? All at once, I was pulled up into the air with incredible force by the other two faintly glowing children. One of my arms was being held by the spirit of a young boy, while the other was being held by the spirit of what I assumed to be a little girl. I couldn't tell for sure since everything above her jawline was missing, leaving me with no facial features to read. Her head was like a half-eaten fruit, with bottom teeth in place of seeds. I could see her vocal cords flutter and her throat contract with every giggle. Based on her size, I'd estimate she was still early grade school age. She held my arm tightly, and her shadowy silhouette gazed at me innocently. Her voice box gyrated a little, and by her throat opened and closed rhythmically, producing a gurgling sound that might have been a chuckle. She then said, hey... I think that says, let's paint a picture, you can be the paint? All three children were now staring right at me as if they were studying an ant's movements just before squishing it with their thumbs. In one single rough motion, I found myself flipped 90 degrees downward. I was facing the ground, and I could sense myself moving forward rapidly. What a strange sensation. I was now staring up at the wall from the floor. There was a large slathering of chunky red bits strewn all over it. Their dull earth tones clashed heavily in the wall's worn-out gray hues. It looked almost as if someone had winged a juicy pomegranate against it with all their might. Except this was no pomegranate. It was a person. It was me. My limbs were ripped clean off and my belly had burst open into a conglomeration of glistening blood, entrails, and other miscellaneous bodily fluids. The force of the impact was enough to scatter parts of me all the way to the ceiling. I was an unsightly mess of slimy globules and viscera. The smell was intensely foul, but then it was a conglomeration of raw meat after all, never mind the fact that it was my meat. And I was just a head. A severed head torn off at the neck on impact, staring up at what was left of me in my last few moments of consciousness. Was that a dream? What an awful dream. Absolutely awful. And the worst part is, it was so vivid. I could even smell it. Wait. Where am I? This isn't right. I was just in the classroom helping with cleanup. Is this part of the festival, maybe? Class 5 was hosting a haunted house. Maybe that's where I am. I hate this kind of stuff. Shige? Miss Yui? Shinozaki? Mochida? Why is nobody saying anything? Come on, that's enough. Please, just stop. There was no response. There was only a deep, all-encompassing silence that hung in the air like fog. Was that an earthquake? This really isn't funny anymore. Guys! Despite continuing to plead with my friends, I knew this was reality. I had no choice but to accept it, no matter how much I wished it weren't true. A set piece like this, after all, was beyond the abilities of even the most professional theater troupe to create. This is no haunted house, is it? So, where am I? What happened to me? And where's everyone else? Somebody please save me. Shige. Were those children? They're the same children I saw in my dream. Alright, search mode like right away. Door? Got a bad feeling about this room. I feel like if I enter, I'll be done for. I think, this is the best choice. Yeah. I decided to follow my instincts on this one. Rather than entering the creepy infirmary, I'd better suited to trying to find my friends. I still couldn't believe I was really in this place, but I was. I was transported somewhere. Somewhere horrible. And if I was here, that meant the others probably were too. I just needed to meet up with Shige. That alone would be enough to keep me going. Oh, okay, that's where I am. Does this say the same thing? There's something written here in chalk. Smells so good. The smell of tasty meat. Where is it coming from? That is not the same thing. It was a young girl. She seemed to be in her mid-teens. She was wearing a school uniform, suggesting she was indeed another student from somewhere. But something wasn't right. Upon closer inspection, I realized that this young girl was very much dead. She's dead? For real? She smells. I wondered how much time had passed since she died. Externally, she still looked to be mostly intact. But her internal organs had clearly begun to decay, with various and sundry fluids leaking out onto the floor all around her. Drawing in for a more detailed look, I noticed that both her eyelids had been stabbed with pencils. Oh, that's cruel. No, you've got to be kidding. She's dead. She's dead. What do I do? What do I do? The police. I have to call the police. My cell phone. I tried dialing 110, Japan's emergency services, but the call wouldn't go through. Huh. No. Am I out of range? I'm sorry. I guess I can't really do anything for you. I'm really, really sorry. I feel like I'm going to be sick. Is this what happens to all of us after we die? There was a noise. Oh. It's a ghost. Please, my body. Hide it. What? Hide my body. Are you the owner of this body? So you want me to hide you? I don't want people to see me like this. I don't know what to do. Can I help this person? I'll try. I wish I could give you a proper burial, but maybe I can at least find a blanket or something to cover you up with. I'll see what I can do. There's a large hole in the floor here. It won't be possible to go any further down the hall in this direction. The gap is so big, even a jump wouldn't be likely to clear it. Okay, I can't go this way, but I can go this way. Look for a blanket or something. Looks clear enough. The door to the science lab is locked. That's a lot of glass. The door is locked. Oh! It's extremely dusty, but from the looks of it, this is the sheet that goes to the infirmary bed. This should be big enough, right? If it helps. I rolled up the dusty sheet and put it under my arm and returned to classroom 3A. It's not very clean, but it seems to fully cover you at least. Thank you. It's no problem. I understand where you're coming from. As a girl, it would be embarrassing for other people to see you like that. Be sure you hang on to that sense of sympathy. In this place, things like kindness, friendship, and consideration can be easily corrupted. Thank you, Ghosty. I don't think I got a tag with your name on it, so... Ooh, a shiny. I will take the shiny. What's this? It looks like some kind of charm. Acquired paper charm. Was this a thank you gift from that girl, maybe? I'll have to make sure I put it in my student ID holder so I don't lose it. Aha! I didn't see that before. It seems like a pretty sturdy board. Might be a good idea to take it with me. Yeah, loose boards are always good in this type of game. Can I go this way? I don't think I tried. The stairwell is packed tightly with desks, making it completely impassable. I couldn't possibly clear these away by myself. If only one of the boys were here to help me. Shige doesn't much care for manual labor, though. What was it he said during setup at the festival? This sort of blue-collar work is beneath me. It's far better suited to the likes of Kishinuma. Getting him to move even one desk was like pulling teeth. There's a large hole in the floor here. Well, I have a wood board, so I wonder if I could use that loose board that I found to cross here. The loose board slides nicely over the hole. Seems sturdy enough. Should be possible to cross here now. Didn't fall to my death. That counts as something. Ooh, a candle. Ah, I recognize this. It's one of Shinozaki's candles for sure. That means everyone else must be somewhere here too. Just looking around. Well, this does say exit. Oh. There are skeletal remains here. Whoever this was seems to have died a while ago, as the bones are already bleach white. Judging by stature and clothing, this was probably a middle school girl. Oh, so young. There's a blood-stained box cutter lying on the ground nearby, suggesting a likely cause of death. A student ID name tag is attached to the front of her uniform. I don't want anything to do with you. We're just friends, and we're not even that anymore. For you to do what you did just because there are no teachers or adults around, it's disgusting. Disgusting, positively disgusting. Just die. Die already. Okay. The door is frozen in place, as if it's just a decoration on the wall. It can't be opened. I can't even jostle it. It's just a solid wall. Something is definitely very wrong here. Oh, there's a note here. Unforgivable. I thought we were friends. I hope you die in agony. Well, okay then. Just as I was about to leave the entranceway, the spirit of a little boy suddenly materialized in front of the door. I remembered his face. It's him. What do I do? If he catches me, I'm done for. I immediately ducked into the shadow of the shoe cubbies, doing my best to stay out of sight. Yeah, that made me jump. Got you. Let go of me. I have to find Chie and the others. Saved. No, let me go, please. I was caught in his cold, dead hands. He had me by the wrist and absolutely was not letting go. The ibbing, so warm, I want to feel more? Ibbing? Oh, living. Okay. With one sudden, inelegant movement, he grabbed my hair with his other hand and began violently pulling on it with all his might. No, stop! It hurts. You're hurting me. Stop. Please stop. In that instant, I found myself unable to breathe and unable to speak. The hand that was previously on my wrist was now strangling the life out of me, gripping my neck with an almost inhuman amount of strength. I can't breathe. He's just a child. How can he be this strong? For a brief moment, I could feel a cold sensation on my arm. And then just like that, my entire torso was forced backwards into a decidedly unnatural bend. I heard a sound like the cracking of a huge lobster tail. Sudden jolts of intense pain shot through every last inch of my body like electricity, and sweat began overflowing from every pore. No, please. My body, equally uncertain on how to react to levels of pain this severe, responded with intense nausea. Somebody, please. I don't understand. What's happening to me? Am I dying? How many people were in the room with me? I was feeling the touch of countless hands, and some clearly did not belong to children. Who were these people, and how many of them were holding me down? Yet another hand grabbed my ankle. With an even greater force than before, my legs were pulled in opposite directions. Then, with a startlingly loud crunch, they snapped right off my hips. Ouch. It's gotta hurt. My limbs were either gone now or barely still attached. I was like a discarded wishbone or a toy they had no qualms about breaking. What a great start to Chapter 2. I'll see you next time.